much. All right. So I heard that fasting is healthy. So you're going to get a good therapy since I'm going to go real long before lunch. All right. So, okay. Actually, I'm joking. I'm going to try to be fast, okay? And all right. So today I'm going to talk about wheat, manage nematodes in wheat, and also using wheat to manage soybean cyst nematode. Okay. So a short overview of what I'm going to talk about today. Soybean cyst nematode management with wheat. The results of a survey of nematode communities in Michigan wheat. In other words, nematodes that are found in wheat based on our survey. Some information about different species of root lesion nematode that we found in wheat. And the research, again, the soybean cyst nematode management with wheat and what the research that we're doing on this. So I'm going to start with the most interesting part. So there's been a long observation based on nematologists and farmers that people that grow wheat in their rotations tend to have much lower soybean cyst nematode numbers. Okay? This has been observed and repeated many times, and we don't understand all the reasons why, and that's been, we're trying to figure this out. But an interesting thing is I had a PhD student that recently graduated that when she was doing the wheat survey, going to different farmers, I'm sure some of the farms, some of you guys here were surveyed also, that we went to some of your farms to collect some soil. We collected soil from different wheat farms, and 30% of the samples had soybean cyst nematode in the wheat roots. So we don't understand what's happening there, which would be a positive thing. We for sure know that wheat is not a host of soybean cyst nematode. And all the juveniles, all the nematodes were in the juvenile stage, in the J2 stage, juvenile, in the second stage juvenile. That means just hatched out of the egg. That means they were not able to develop at all, okay? So in other words, for a soybean cyst nematode, if it hatches when you're planting wheat, it's a suicide mission. They cannot feed on wheat, they die, which is a good thing because that reduces your nematode population level, okay? Because their eggs are hatching and they're dying, and therefore when you plant soybeans, there's going to be less soybean cyst nematode, okay? So this is a good thing. All right, so we don't understand what is happening, how this is working, why it's working, to what extent. This was an observation based on a survey. So we're trying to figure this out, okay? We have done research on this already. We have done several trials that I will explain a little bit more towards the end. Our results so far are inconclusive. We have not been able to replicate what we found in the survey. We have not been able to replicate it in the lab. Okay, so we know that this is happening, but we haven't been able to replicate in the lab to understand it. But however, there's been several research papers, some of them pretty recent, demonstrating that wheat is an excellent rotation crop for managing soybean cyst nematode. Here you can see in this paper from 2021, double cropping with wheat reduces soybean cyst nematode numbers 32% more than fallow. In other words, if you have plain soil with nothing, you know that nematodes can't feed on nothing, right? So wheat reduces soybean cyst nematode more than just fallow. In other words, wheat is doing some kind of magic trick on soybean cyst nematode. Reducing them, killing them further than just plain soil. So wheat, it's more than just the non-host. It's more than just not food, okay? So we're doing the test now since we're not eating yet, okay? So, so wheat is, reduces nematodes more than just not than fallow. So this same group did further investigation on what could have been happening, and they concluded that the suppression of soybean cyst nematode in soybean fields double cropped with winter wheat. In other words, they harvested the soybeans and then planted wheat. And again, the soybean cyst nematode numbers reduced 32% more than just planting soybeans and then just leaving it fallow. Okay, so planting wheat after soybeans is a good thing. Okay, it helps to control soybean cyst nematode. Soybean cyst nematode is a very serious nematode that affects soybeans significantly and is very commonly found. Okay? It's a significant yield robber of soybeans. Okay, so what are the things they found? Potential enrich microbial communities. In other words, it increased some microbes and beneficial organisms. And there was a higher concentration of chemicals with potential nematocidal activity. So it seems like wheat is increasing some beneficial organisms that are reducing soybean cyst nematode and also producing some compounds, some chemical compounds that are killing soybean cyst nematode. Okay, so this is good news. Okay, that wheat is reducing soybean cyst nematode more than just planting nothing. So is there other reasons for this reduction? Like I said, we found that soybean cyst nematode juveniles in the wheat roots. So we see there's something else going on, but we don't understand why or how this is happening. We're trying to figure this out. All right, so I'm going to skip all the root lesion nematode affects wheat. So we did a survey in different parts of Michigan. You can see to determine the nematodes that affect wheat. Here's where you see those little dots. That's where we did survey. We collected several information. There's an interesting graph. So this, number one, I want to say, root lesion nematode was the most common nematode found. Spiral nematode is also commonly found, but spiral nematode is not a problem in wheat or in most crops, so we don't need to worry about that. Root lesion nematode populations did not surpass the threshold of 200 individuals on 100 cc's of soil. So therefore, root lesion nematode is commonly found in wheat fields, but it's not important. It's not, the numbers are not high enough that they're causing problem. So when you plant wheat, I don't think you should worry about nematode, okay? Wheat, in Michigan at least, nematodes are not affecting wheat significantly. You can see, again, there the most common nematode is root lesion nematode. Also, you can see here that certain types of soil tended to have more nematode than others. Sand and sandy loam had the greatest amount of root lesion nematode, and the lowest quantity of root lesion nematodes was in heavy soils, like clay soils. And this makes sense because nematodes kind of swim between the soil pores, and clay doesn't have a lot of space. It's very dense, so very difficult to move around. And also in clay, water will have less dissolved oxygen, and nematodes breathe or get the oxygen from the water, and there'll be less dissolved oxygen in clay. In other words, Clay is a less friendly environment for nematodes. Heavier soils are less friendly environments for nematodes. And the same thing goes for soybean cyst nematode and other nematodes. So in general, if you have sandy soil, you'll have more challenge with nematodes in many of your crops, okay? So we also identified what species of nematodes. With this, we did some molecular analysis, and we can see that in wheat fields in Michigan, the most common nematodes, root lesion nematodes, was Paralincus penetrans and Paralincus crenatus, and the next most abundant is Paralincus neglectus. Okay, so and you can see I'm going to skip some of these things. I'm just going to skip so you guys can eat eventually. So here, just see a picture here of a root, and you can see root lesion nematode moving between the roots. Root lesion nematode migrates within the root. They feed in the root. They get married in the root. They lay eggs in the root. They poop in the roots. Everything they do in and out of the roots. So root lesion nematodes tend to make the plant more susceptible to fungal diseases, also because of their very unsanitary manners. Okay, so reproduction, you can see here. I'm going to skip. So you can see that we tried to figure out which of the 3 species of Paralincus that are found in Michigan, which of the 3 species affects wheat the most, and it is Paralincus neglectus. Paralincus neglectus is the most significant wheat nematode in the Pacific Northwest. Okay, it causes significant problems in the Pacific Northwest. Fortunately, in Michigan, the numbers are not high enough that they cross the damage threshold. But it is found here. Not very abundant, like I said, and it is the most damaging nematode, and it reproduces the fastest. It has the biggest reproduction factor, and also you can see here root weight and plant height. So in other words, the plant growth. Neglectus and penetrans, they affected wheat the most, reduce yield or reduce growth the most. The control means no nematodes at all. Crenatus, this is Paralincus crenatus. This neglectus and penetrans, you can see in both. These are 2 trials. First time we did it, second time we did it. And every single time, pretty much neglectus caused the most damage, with Paralincus penetrans second most damage, and crenatus causing very little damage to wheat and the growth. Okay, I'm not going to go through the takeaways. So this is the trials that we've done. Again, I mentioned we did a survey. We found soybean cyst nematode 30% of root. My students thought it might be cereal cyst nematode because it was found in the wheat. But we did DNA, and my student did molecular analysis, and it was 100% matched to soybean cyst nematode. So our hypothesis is that winter wheat acts as a trap crop for soybean cyst nematode. We have done several trials. We have tested all these different varieties of wheat. We planted them, we inoculated with soybean cyst nematode, and we harvested them, took out the root to see if there was soybean cyst nematode. And the results is that the results, you can say we extracted them, we stained them, and we looked under the microscope, so there was nematode, and SCN, soybean cyst nematode, has not been detected in any of the wheat varieties. So we did find it in the survey. we were not able to replicate it in the lab. But that leads me to believe there's something on in the field, maybe through the long winter, maybe there's a factor, maybe temperature, humidity, there's something going on in the field that is not going on in the greenhouse. So, and to replicate the conditions has not been easy for us. But we're going to try again, and we're going to try again, through the winter, so that we kind of replicated microplots outdoors to replicate the outdoor conditions. Again, this was done, another trial, and again, we did not find the absence of SCNs. So we cannot find SCN in the second trial. We definitely know that wheat is not a host. I mean, that has always been known. The question is, it is trap crop or not? And our survey says that maybe our trials have not confirmed this yet. Okay? So again, wheat is an excellent rotation crop. If you plant wheat after you grow soybeans as a double crop, it reduces your soybean cyst nematode numbers by 32%. As observations of farmers and nematologists show that wheat is an excellent rotational crop with soybeans, as it reduces soybean cyst nematode. In our survey did not find that nematodes are a problem in wheat. So you don't need to worry about nematodes in wheat. Mainly, you do need to worry about nematodes in soybean, and wheat will help you with your nematodes in soybean. So I want to thank my funders, especially Michigan Wheat Program that provided the funding to conduct this research, USDA NIFA, Dennis Pennington, and all my team, and all of you for listening to me instead of eating. All right, well, thank you.
A couple questions?
Yes?
Does rye have the same effect?
Okay, that's a good question, and we don't know. We don't know. In fact, we don't even know if wheat is doing, I mean, we're still trying to figure this out with wheat. We do not think that rye that has been investigated as a host for soybean cyst nematode is a non-host. The fact that we found this soybean cyst nematode in wheat is really rare, and it was really a surprise. It really surprised me, and we're trying to figure out why. No, I don't think rye does the same thing. We know that rye is a non-host, and it will definitely not increase soybean cyst nematode numbers. Wheat does seem to have some special magic to reduce soybean cyst nematode, okay? And we're trying to figure out what are the reasons for this magic, Some research of other labs showed that there's some components or chemicals that reduce it, etc., and beneficial microbes, but we think there might be more than that going on. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, let's finish the fasting and have a wonderful rest of the day.